The Valkyrie warship's interrogation chamber was a deliberately terrifying place, its walls alive with twisting bioluminescent veins that glowed in erratic, shifting hues, bathing everything in an eerie, pulsating light that disoriented even the most composed minds. Subsonic vibrations coursed through the air, inaudible yet designed to interfere with neural signals and evoke disquieting sensations deep within the brainstem, a technique proven effective on dozens of sentient species. Ambassador Neiral Lith, a seasoned diplomat of the Galactic Concord and a Lumidian capable of reading physiological responses with exceptional accuracy, had personally witnessed hardened soldiers from multiple star systems unravel within minutes of exposure to this environment. Yet the human sitting across from her, Professor Daniel Chen, an expert in xenobiology from Earth, remained eerily unaffected. Captured during a Valkyrie assault on Research Station Epsilon. Chen was secured to a metal chair at the center of the chamber, his posture relaxed, gaze clinical, as if this was just another lab he was studying. His restraints seemed almost symbolic, unnecessary. "Your cortisol levels are remarkably low," Neiral observed, circling him, her translucent skin faintly illuminated by the bioluminescent glow, revealing the patterns of fluid flowing beneath her dermal surface. Her species had evolved to detect emotional states through biofeedback, and yet the human before her betrayed nothing she could use. "Are humans immune to fear?" she asked, genuinely perplexed. Chen offered a faint smile. "Hardly. We experience fear just as deeply as any species." "Then explain your composure," she pressed. "Our scans show you're fully aware of the situation you're in." "I am," he replied calmly. "You know what the Valkyrie do to prisoners?" "Yes, I've seen it." "Then why aren't you afraid?" Neiral asked again, voice sharpening. Chen tilted his head, studying her with eyes that held an uncomfortable amount of perception. "Tell me, Ambassador Lith, how much do you really know about Earth's history?" Her fingers moved through a floating holographic interface, pulling up his planet's profile. "Your species has survived several extinction-level events, advanced rapidly from combustion engines to atomic energy, and achieved spaceflight in less than 2 centuries thereafter. Earth is classified as a Class 9 death world due to its volatile weather patterns, tectonic instability, and aggressive biodiversity." "That's the sanitized summary," Chen said. "But what do you know about our conflicts?" Something in his tone made Neiral's circulatory flow hesitate, a subtle but unmistakable marker of unease. "Your species had multiple large-scale wars before achieving planetary unification." "We had thousands of wars," Chen corrected. "Millennia of continuous bloodshed, genocide, civil collapse, and ideological purges. We didn't just fight, we refined violence into an art. When we weren't fighting, we were preparing for the next fight. And when there were no enemies left, we invented new reasons to fight each other. It's not something we're proud of, but it's part of who we are." "Many species have violent pasts," Neiral countered. "Not like ours," Chen said flatly. "We industrialized it. We mechanized it. We turned killing into a logistical challenge, something we could measure, optimize, and export. We built weapons capable of annihilating our own biosphere, not once or twice, but many times over. And then we built more, just in case the first batch wasn't effective enough." Neiral's curiosity began to yield to something colder, deeper. "But you still survived." "Not only survived," he said. "We prospered. We romanticized war. Our greatest legends are soaked in it. Our heroes are warriors, generals, revolutionaries. Peace is something we speak about, but conflict is something we understand on a cellular level. The Valkyrie evolved as predators, born to hunt, dominate, and conquer. But humans evolved as prey, vulnerable, hunted, weak. And instead of staying at the bottom of the food chain, we rose through relentless willpower and innovation. We learned to outthink, outbuild, and outkill every threat we faced, even ourselves." Neiral felt her body respond involuntarily, the chills in her limbs, the quickening pulse, the subtle changes that told her internal monitors what her pride would never admit aloud. Fear. You still haven't answered my question, she said, forcing her voice to remain steady. Why aren't you afraid? Chen's eyes gleamed with something unreadable. Because I know something you don't. Nairal paused. And what would that be? The distress signal from Epsilon was received 13 hours ago. Her expression flickered. That's not possible. The Valkyrie jammed all outgoing transmissions from the moment of our arrival. They tried, Chen acknowledged. But you don't understand. Humans have spent centuries trying to hide things from one another, spies, hackers, rebels, whistleblowers. We've turned getting a message through under impossible circumstances into an art form. You jammed the obvious channels. We used the invisible ones. At that moment, a deep rumble vibrated through the chamber floor. Then another. Sirens flared outside the chamber, echoing down the corridors of the ship. Chen remained still. That will be the vanguard, he said evenly. Nairal's voice cracked. Your military is light years away, we are light years away, Chen interrupted. Humanity doesn't abandon its people. Ever. The chamber door hissed open. A Valkyrie officer entered, his body language unmistakably submissive. The human fleet has arrived, he reported grimly. Our weapons and propulsion systems have been neutralized. Their commander demands the immediate release of all detainees. Nairal's composure shattered. You surrendered, she whispered. The Valkyrie never surrender. They targeted our command systems from orbit with surgical precision, the officer said. And then, they sent visuals. Visuals of what? She asked. His voice faltered. Of what happened to the last species that took human prisoners. The Valkyrie never surrender. They targeted our command systems from orbit with surgical precision, the officer said. And then, they sent visuals. Visuals of what? She asked. His voice faltered. Of what happened to the last species that took human prisoners. Their cities. Their leadership. Their extinction. The restraints around Chen disengaged silently. He stood slowly, adjusting the remains of his research uniform. I'm not afraid, Ambassador Lith, he said quietly. Because in our long, bloody history, we learned something important. There are predators. There are prey. And then there are humans. Nairal stood frozen, her mind reeling, her internal systems screaming with warning signals. For centuries, the Galactic Concord had watched Earth with a mix of fascination and caution, labeling it a statistical anomaly, a violent world that somehow gave rise to sentient life. It had been a subject of study, not of concern. But now she realized the truth they had all missed. Earth wasn't just dangerous. It was something else entirely, an apex threat hidden behind a mask of curiosity and cooperation. They should have quarantined it, isolated it, never contacted it, never provoked it. Now the humans had arrived, not with diplomats or negotiators, but with warships that defied expectation, tactics that exploited centuries of internal chaos, and a willpower that no algorithm could predict. Chen, a scientist, had walked into their most feared chamber and emerged untouched. What would happen when the soldiers arrived? As human boots echoed down the hallway, drawing closer, the lights in the interrogation room dimmed slightly, as if even the ship itself understood the futility of resistance. Nairal's thoughts spiraled. The galaxy had mistaken humanity's volatility for weakness, its emotional depth for instability, its destructive history for a sign of backwardness. In truth, those traits were its evolutionary edge. While other species had tamed themselves, humans had embraced contradiction, weaponized chaos, and turned survival into an ideology. She watched Chen step through the doorway into the corridor, flanked by human commandos in armor etched with the insignia of Earth's unified fleet. Her legs refused to move. Her mouth could not form a word. She had thought this was an interrogation. But in the end, it had been a warning. One that came too late.